People of the internet, welcome back to another video. It is I, Don Thomas, back in here with another one. As always, folks, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the support on this channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, folks. Got a video pulled up here. Comes from a channel called Remnant Princess, in which they titled the video, Why Men Deserve Less. It looks like, I think there's some commentary amongst the podcast, whatever the case is. I don't know. I think it's a reaction to a reaction. Why do men deserve less? Of course, as they usually do, folks. I see a thumbnail, I see a title, strikes my interest. I typically like to watch those videos and share my thoughts. I always encourage you guys to share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let's get into it.
But why does men deserve less, though? Because you're saying some nice stuff about us right now.
Because I'm trying to be nice to them this year in hopes that I can heal the world on my own, because I like to believe I have that much power. So maybe if I'm nicer to men, they'll be nicer to girls.
But maybe you just didn't meet the man that is for you yet.
So speaking of 9-to-5ers, right? So one of the last guys I wanted to date, he worked for Delta. Shout out to Delta, you know who he is.
His name is Delta?
That's what we call him, Delta. That's what my friend group, y'all all got nicknames in the group chat. Don't act like you don't know. So we call him Delta because he works for Delta. One of the reasons why I didn't pursue him or go further with our relationship, nice guy, owns his own house, owns his own car, has a job, been with Delta for 10 years. I asked him what was next for him and he didn't have an answer. And I literally didn't talk to him after that because I just was like, I can't have all these plans for my life and you don't have any for yours. And that was about 1.5 years ago. And me and him started talking again recently just because we both realized ain't shit out there.
Yeah.
We actually really did like each other.
But wait, not to cut you off. Why did you not tell him?
So I did tell him one day I got drunk in the airport, seen him.
Oh, Lord.
And he will always do that. Like whenever I have flights, he would meet me and make sure walk me to my gate and stuff. So one day I got drunk and I hit him up and I'm like, where you at? I'm like, I'm at D whatever one. Come here. So he came over and then I told him like, and he took it well, and he has a new job within Delta now, and now they're flying him all over the country and he's doing all this other stuff. I like to think that I kind of motivated him in that aspect. So you can make people better, but patience is the key. I think I didn't have patience.
Okay.
I'm also one of them
New
people.
year, new you.
Okay.
So men don't deserve less then.
No, I did not say that. That man don't deserve less. Oh, wait.
So you motivated him. You motivated him.
I feel like I'm being nice to men.
You are.
This is my clone. I'm a clone. Look, I'm glitching.
No, seriously though. Why,
really-
let's get to
My
the point. I
brain
want you to
has
give me
been
some points. Why do you feel men deserve less?
So
Hello, welcome back to Remnant Princess, and today we're going to be talking about why do men deserve less.
Let's pause it right there real quick, man. Interesting commentary thus far in this conversation. Why men deserve less. I think this lady is going to go into a little bit more detail as why she thinks that way. She shared an interesting story that I thought was interesting. In terms of her interaction with the man who she was interested in, he worked at Delta, had a good job, whatever the case is. She didn't ask the man, hey, what's your future? What's your plans beyond this? And he didn't have an answer, so she stopped talking to him. Very interesting. Ladies, is this how y'all think? I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like, and here's what I come to realize as well, too. Of course, we'll get back to the video as well, too. Here's what I've come to realize in this modern dating scene right now. I think women do typically like men with, I think the kids are calling it emotion these days. Right? Women typically do like a man with a plan. Women typically do like a man with ambition, drive, goals, right? So whether he's already established in his career or has plans, has aspirations that she can kind of see the vision, women like to typically see the vision, even if they don't necessarily understand the ins and outs of what that man does or whatever the case is. I think women appreciate a man that's passionate about something. Again, that could be the 9-to-5ers, that could be the entrepreneurs, whatever the case is. So in her saying that she found a man, he worked at Delta, he's been working there for some time, had his own house, had his own crib, had everything going for himself, but the fact that he didn't have a plan beyond that she stopped talking to him, was interesting to me. Now, of course, it was interesting. I like that she took accountability and she actually said, well, she later circled back with him. I don't know how long, but circled back with him because she realized that ain't shit out here, right? As we've been saying. And I like that she kind of said that as well, too, because that ties into some of my other thoughts as well, too. I might have said this in another video before as well, too. There's not that much out here. It's slim pickings out here. Don't let social media fool you. I've said this before in another video, man. I think we feel like, and this is more so a common generation, this is a generational thing. I think we think because we scroll through social media and we see people, right, that are doing well for themselves, allegedly, right? Maybe, maybe not. I think we think that those are viable options for us, right? These could be complete strangers. These could be people that we kind of sort of know, whatever the case is. So I think we like scroll social media and we think, oh, I'm single. This person looks attractive, or this person, this, that, and the other. And you scroll, you scroll, you scroll, you scroll, you swipe, you swipe. If you're on the dating apps, you swipe, you swipe, you swipe. And that has grown us to believe that there's options, that these are all viable options for us. And that's not necessarily the case. Because different people are on different type of time. People are different, have different morals, different goals. Some people that you think are viable options for you are probably not even paying you any type of money. You see what I'm saying? So I found it interesting that the girl said, oh, well, you know, I circled back with him because ain't nothing out here. She said she circled back to the dude because ain't nothing out here, whatever the case is, and started talking to him. And then he later, you know, grew in his job, whatever the case is. So he still works with Delta, but got a promotion, I guess, within Delta that allows him to travel, this, that, and the other. And she feels like she played a part in that. What's wrong with that, ladies? Why can't y'all be that? See, that's the thing that I be saying, man. A lot of y'all women, y'all want the finished product, and sometimes you yourselves are not finished yourselves. Sometimes, I always said this before as well, too. Like, I usually said this with some of my homeboys, man. It's just like, man, there's two types of women. There's a woman that's going to be able to help you get across the finish line, and then there's some women that are waiting for you to cross the finish line. Which one are you, ladies? Now, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I've been hearing the rhetoric online. Oh, I ain't building up no Dusty. I ain't building up a man so he could just leave me. Some of y'all maybe are speaking from experience, or maybe you've had the experience where you've built a man up, or you've been by the side of a man and then he got on, or he bettered himself and then he left you. And I'm sorry that was the situation, but not all men operate like that, right? And again, I can't necessarily fault you. Again, I always let people have their standards. So if you are a woman who feels like, man, I'm not helping build a man, I want the finished product, so I'm gonna wait for him to cross the finish line. Yeah, you could do that, but I want you to understand that you'll be lowering your chances that he actually picks you, right? Because if a man finally reaches his finish line, whatever that finish line looks like for him, so maybe that be, a raise at his job or promotion, whatever the case is, whatever crossing the finish line looks like for that man, are you under the impression that he'll still pick you once he crosses the finish line? Isn't it better to like, okay, cool, I'm not saying you got to build a man up from scratch, but if you kind of peep a man who has a little something going for him, whatever the case is, he has a little bit of motion or whatever the case is, and the other, and you feel like, all right, you have some qualities in you that can maybe expedite the process, or you both, again, because I don't want it to seem like it's, a one-sided thing. Maybe you guys both have qualities with each other that, okay, cool, we can both be allies to one another. Is that a problem, ladies? I want to know. I want to know. Let's watch a little bit more of this video, of course. Again, the video is entitled Why Men Deserve Less. This comes from Remnant Princess. I think this is reaction within a reaction. Let's get a little bit more context for this video. I do want to hear why men deserve less, according to this lady. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below.
Don't threaten me with a good time, because I love to pull a good list out of my back pocket as to why these men. I'll start with Ray J off the top of my head. No, matter of fact, I'll go with Ocho motherfucking Cinco. Ocho no. This man sat here, got a baddie with her job, a career, and is outside cheating on her for fun. Just because he wants to. And then it's
we know this for a fact?
That he's cheating on her? Yes. Did you not see her just do her interview? And she said that she caught him cheating, and everybody was like, well, wasn't you married when you started dating him? And she was like, well, it was over. But that's her karma. But Ocho, my problem is men say that they want a certain type of woman, then they get that type of woman and still cheat on her. Why? Men don't cheat because they're missing something. Men cheat because they lack self-discipline, and they just be like, oh shit, pussy. Ah.
I don't think that's a man thing. I think that's a person thing. That's men or women.
Cut it out. Just because you got it together after you done fucked up in old child support, now you got it together. You just trying to be the beacon of speaking for all the good men in the world. You are one of 2% of these Negroes. I don't know BT business, so I can't really chew him up the way I need to, but I'll do some research.
Okay, who else is the person?
Oh, we got Ocho, he ain't shit. Ray J, the audacity, running around with Suki Chain like he a baddie with her nunu juice on his face and taking selfies. Oh my God, if I was Princess Love.
Was that 100% accurate?
That was 100% accurate.
Or is this for television?
That was 100% accurate. We seen it. We seen the text.
That wasn't juice though. That was his shirt was probably messed up from something.
That man, I know the smile of a man trying to show you like, look, babe, I still smell like you. I ain't even washed my face this morning. That's exactly what he had going on.
Let's pause it right there. So I'm still a little bit confused. The examples that she's using as to why men deserve less are not viable examples, man. You're talking about Chad, Ocho Cinco, and Ray J. Those men deserve less. Now, she brought up an interesting point, which is interesting, man. Ray J, I don't know. I don't really care too much about all that, whatever the case is. But she says men deserve less because they can get the woman that they want and then still cheat on her, or have a certain type of ideal woman, whatever the case is, get the woman and then still cheat on her. And to the brother's point as well too, that's not a man thing. That's a human thing. I think, like, don't get me wrong, men are men, and some people might not like to hear that, whatever the case is. But women are able to do that as well too. Let's stop pinning these specific traits and characteristics on men specifically. when women are capable of doing these things as well too. Now, I will say this. Maybe Chad Ochocinco is maybe not the best example of this situation, but of course she was speaking on that. So it's just like, I'm loosely familiar with that whole situation with Chad and his, what was it, Rosado? I forgot her name, but fellas, have you done that? Have you wanted to have your cake and eat it too? Maybe you got the ideal woman that you maybe always kind of envisioned yourself having, only to later get someone with someone else as well too, cheat on her as well too, whatever the case is. I feel like in most situations like that, it's typically the men who have, you know, money, resources, fame, whatever the case is, who are more privy to the idea of exploring their options. I'm not saying regular dudes don't do that as well too, but it's interesting to me. It's an interesting theory to me that men will do that. Again, I don't know. I feel like that is more so a common trait of men who are affluent in resources and things of that nature. But it is interesting to me that that could be a thing, that a man or woman, let's use both, that a man or woman could have the quote-unquote man or woman of their dreams and still be looking elsewhere as if that isn't enough. I think that's very interesting. Me personally speaking for myself, I always pray for wisdom from God. It's just like, man, when I have a good thing, I want to be wise in knowing that that's a good thing, right? I mean, men are stupid, don't get me wrong. But like, I look at it as, especially the market that we're living in now and the day and age that we're coming across now, if you come across a good person, you better hold on to that person with your arms, your feet, your teeth, because it's rare. The dating pool is getting more and more filthy out here, man. It's getting scary out here. So I know a bunch of people that are just lost hope. They don't care anymore. Like, oh man, I guess I'm just going to be single forever because there's nothing out here. So if you are somebody who's been fortunate enough or blessed enough to come across a good person, be grateful for what you have. You know, again, this could be all the qualities of this person, right? So their mindset, their, you know, ambition, their job, whatever the qualities that, you know, fit your, whatever you look for in a person. If you come across that, don't think that you're going to come across that multiple times. It's nothing out here, bruh. It's nothing out here. And that's just like the new reality. There's nothing out here, man. So it's just like, I think some people, again, going back to what we were saying earlier in terms of people think that they have all these options. You might think that you have options because you have the ability to scroll and swipe and see people that you think could be, you know, best fitting for you, whatever the case is. But in a lot of those situations, you actually get to meet those people or you talk to them, whatever the case, you find out you and them have nothing in common. Or they too have options. They're under the mindset that they have options. So they're just looking at you as whatever the case is. So again, man, I think of course this is more so, again, this is all opinion based. Again, I think this is a podcast. I'm not too familiar with this podcast. I did see the title of the video, of course, which was interesting to me. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there's a lot to take away from, again, just the modern dating scene right now in terms of what people are interested in. I think there's a lot to take away in terms of traits that both men and women are capable of. I don't like this rhetoric that it's only men that do these certain things, as if women are not as able to do certain these things as well too. Women cheat. Women, you know, have a roster, whatever the case is. Women have, you know, whatever the case is, options, this, that, and the other. So I think it is not necessarily a gender thing, but a human thing. But I think it does take into, I think she mentioned it as well too, discipline, right? Accountability, right? Just trust and things of that nature. Those are all qualities that I think are a lost art, right? To be able to trust somebody, to be able to take somebody's word, for it to mean something, right? To be able to, you know, be able to confide in somebody and trust that your business isn't going to be spread all throughout, you know, the world, whatever the case is. I think those are qualities that are fading in our generation, man, and it's sad. So, I'm under the impression right now, man, hey, it's either I stay by myself or, you know, if God sees fit to send that person that could be trustworthy and has the same ideals or characteristics as myself, man, then I'm not going to take that for granted because I know there's nothing out here. There's nothing out here, folks. It's scary out here. Scary out here, folks. Of course, you're hearing an increase in diseases. You're hearing an increase in all these other things, man. And, you know, I think there's just a new way of life that's forming right now that makes it scary for the folks who do want to hold on to those traditional means of dating, traditional means of courting. So I pray that I have sense to know when I got a good thing when it's in front of me. I hope you have sense to know when there's a good thing in front of you, of course, assuming that you're single. And let's just be good people, folks. Men, women, let's just be good people when we're interacting with other people. I think that's fair, right? Treat people the way that you want to be treated. Isn't that the golden rule that we've been learning since childhood? Treat people the way you want to be treated. Be vocal. Be pure with your intentions. And I think everybody could be happy in the relationships that they find themselves in. But of course, those are my thoughts, folks. I want to hear yours down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. I will catch you on the next one.